We're live, pal. Welcome to Ask Us Anything, CCW Insider. We're here today with a couple special guests, but most importantly, the manager of champions, one of the best of all time, the manager of all time, Mr. Bill Alfonso, as well as Tyler Cashmere. We had an incredible weekend, but Fonzie, you're looking great in your merch room. How are you feeling?
Oh, Dad, this is my office, man. You want to pan through my office real quick?
Yes,
Sir, the cool
please.
stuff?
Yes, please.
Um, a really good friend of everybody's. When I go to a party with my wife, she's a nurse. She should have been a doctor, but there's doctors and all kind of stuff at a Christmas party and stuff. And it eventually gets to me, and they say, "Oh, what do you do for a living, Fonzie?" And I say, "Oh, sports entertainment." They say, "Sports entertainment? What's that?" And I say one name. I don't say Papa Shango or Ric Flair or this guy or that guy. I say one name, Hulk Hogan. He's international, the biggest name in the business. Everybody knows. Oh, Hulk Hogan. And I'm the center of attention at the party.
Yeah, well, Fonzie, we were all we all got that scare earlier that Hulk
Yeah,
was,
man.
and you're in Tampa. You are Mr. Tampa, but we had that scare earlier that Hulk was possibly leaving us. And I know you've had a lot of stories with him, and you spent a lot of time with the Babe Ruth of our sport. Love him or hate him, the Babe Ruth of
We
our sport.
both broke in at Florida Championship Wrestling with Eddie Graham and Hiro Matsuda trained them. Jack Briscoe gave him his first pair of wrestling boots, a blue pair. They stretched the fuck out of him. But hey, a lot of guys come out of Tampa. And Hogan, we both got August 11th is our birthday. I'll be 60. I think Hogan's going to be 72 or 73. I'm not sure. He's a few years older than me, but God bless him.
You share a birthday, two wrestling legends with the same birthday. The greatest sports entertainer of all time, arguably, and then the greatest manager, no argument, Bill Alfonso.
Oh, thanks for putting me over like that, Giant.
The same day.
Yeah. So speaking of Hogan, I think it was 1993. I did a European trip. We did 5 countries and 7 cities in 7 days. Germany, England, France, Austria, Scotland. It was pretty cool. And here's a picture if you guys can kind of see that.
Oh, I see it.
That's the whole
Wow.
tour. And it was sell out. Every building we went to was sold out. And you see who's standing right next to Hulk Hogan. He's put his arm right around me. He loves me for some reason, This is the London Heathrow Airport.
I love it.
And then I got another great picture of this is on the set of Thunder in Paradise. Remember his television series he had for 2 years. Carol Ault, Chris Lemon was his co-star, and we were on one of the episodes. Giant Gonzalez and Fonzie. I didn't have a speaking part, but I was playing volleyball in the background.
Great.
So that's a great picture. Hogan's a big guy, but look how giant Gonzalez was. My
Fonzie,
God.
I was when I heard the news earlier. I finally met Hulk Hogan. About 7 weeks ago, for the first time, randomly, and it's a ridiculous story.
I want to hear it.
I thought today was going to be like a horrible day, in that sense. But as Hogan, he won't do the job, not even for death. So kicks out at 1, and he's fine. But Fonzie, you look great there, and I love the Bill Alfonso and Vinicius. I love all the merch. Like, you have a shrine there of pro wrestling.
Well, this is my office, and I've collected some cool stuff. Of course, Harley Race gave me the replica of his belt he had, and here's me holding that belt right there over Ric Flair. If you guys can see that, I got CCW belt, ECW television belts, and just all kind of cool stuff. There's Andre the Giant, Fonzie and Andre, Dusty. There's Harley Race right there. I guess some pretty cool memorabilia.
I think you've had about 7 incredible careers in one, Fonzie, like through the span of time and the people that you work with. But talking about Giants, we talked about how big Hogan is. We talked about Andre the Giant. Let's bring on a Giant, 6'12", Mr. Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop.
Hey,
Fonzie. Well, you're talking about all these giants, and yet you're managing the smallest guy at CCW.
Yeah.
You dirty scoundrel, son of a.
But Alan Martinez is fantastic at what he does.
Yeah, no, I'm not doubting that, but it's just ironic. It's funny. It's funny.
Right? From the biggest to the smallest.
Ben, you have been a sensation online. You're the type of guy that when Fonzie broke in this business, you'd be making millions of dollars on television. But luckily you've kind of found an incredible niche, and like you're funny, you're interesting. What made you start wanting to be in this crazy world of professional wrestling, man?
What made me want to start being in the crazy world or the videos? The crazy world of professional
wrestling?
Let's
go with the crazy world of professional wrestling, because you're a professional guy. You're a tall guy. Like, tell me what is.
Dude, I just went to an independent wrestling show one day in 2019. I had no intentions of doing this at all. I've always wanted to, but I just went to an independent wrestling show, and Gilbert came up to me, and he's like, "Are you a worker?" And I said, "I have a job." I don't know what the word meant. I loved wrestling, but I didn't know all like the lingos and stuff.
Right.
Like the perfect fan, right? But so he's like, no. Are you a wrestler? And I said, no. And he, walked me up to James Ellsworth, and he said, Jimmy, would you want to train this guy? And he looked up, and he's like, yeah, I think so. Sure. Do you want to do it tomorrow? Yeah, let's do it. And the next day we were training. That was it. There was like no lead up.
And Ben, you're a natural athlete. You fit right into the business. When we wrestled you last week in Port St. Lucie, and we were talking about the match, man, you were fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course.
And you're very good in the ring, man. You're very good in the ring.
It was not. That means a lot.
Before 2019, obviously, right? Clearly an athlete. You were a basketball player. I mean, probably just you wanted to be in the NBA, or you got.
So I stopped playing basketball in 2013. And then I played a little bit of Australian football for a few years, just in the States, nothing crazy overseas or anything. You know what? I when I was in high school, I wanted to be in the NBA, and I learned real quick the difference between guys who go to Duke in North Carolina versus guys who go to Vermont like me. So it was a little bit of a difference. And so I kind of thought like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy basketball. I had a great team, great teammates, tried the best I could, hampered with a few injuries. But yeah, no, I've always been an athlete though my whole life, but I wouldn't trade anything. I loved Vermont. UVM was the best.
No, and to the videos, I mean, you've ruffled a lot of feathers, which I think is great. I mean, in professional wrestling, you want to get a reaction. I tell guys all the time, go get a reaction. Like, find something that sets you apart. Makes you unique in pro wrestling. There's a million wrestlers. There's 10,000 wrestlers. And obviously you're 6'12", or you're a 7-foot guy. You have it, but you found another way to make yourself unique. Like, what was the, what sparked that?
Honestly, it was really about like, I'm not getting as much attention as I believe I should, and I was like, I need to do something different. I was like, like I said, I'm a 7-foot guy. I just had people telling me nonstop, oh, you're good. Give it 6 months, give it a year, give it a year and a half, give it 2. Oh, this is the year. And I kept hearing that. I'm like, well, at some point you got to do something about it. You can't just sit there and wait. So I was like, I guess I'll just make some content. I was working actually, Sam Adonis kind of gave me the idea a little bit, if you're familiar with Sam.
I love Sam, yeah.
And yeah, Sam's great. And he gave me the idea. He's just like, you have something, man. I can tell. Just like, you got to figure it out, just like something. And so started doing more and more content. And I was like, I make these jokes with like buddies in the locker room about wrestling and how silly it can be. So why not just do it on video and see where it goes? And it definitely went somewhere.
I think it actually, now that I know it, I think it's almost perfect that, you came into wrestling later in life, because you have a little
I always say that.
It's like a little bit of an, I'm going to say outside perspective, but like you do look at some of the most ridiculous things that happen in wrestling, and then you take them to, you put them to a 10 or an 11, which are all, I don't want to call you a comedian, because, there's comedy in wrestling, but there's some really fun
I would appreciate if you did. That's pretty nice too. Yeah.
But I think it's great. Like, and I tell my guys too, like, if I have a guy who just started a week ago and they start making videos like that, I probably would tell them like, hey, hold off. But like the way that you did it and the way that you put it together was just excellent. And I think you're an excellent example for how to, set yourself apart in wrestling.
Yeah, oh, and I appreciate that, man. And the guy who had a lot of inspiration from was guys like Matt Cardona, because he really started that with the Z Long Island story back in the day on YouTube when no one was using YouTube or Twitter or any of that stuff. And I just saw it. And when I saw him come back to the Indies and he kind of reinvented himself again, it's like, what am I doing? I can't just rely on being a 7-foot guy. I was pretty good looking, I'd say.
And it sure does help, man, that you're a natural athlete.
I appreciate you, Bill. Thank you. Didn't appreciate Saturday night, Bill, but now I appreciate you.
We had a great showing Saturday night. That sellout crowd in Port St. Lucie at that beautiful building. CCW's on fire right now.
That building is, I mean, oh, man,
amazing.
Let me say, it really is. I was blown away. But I always get nervous when I walk into indie shows and they're in big buildings like that. It doesn't happen super often, but I have like a phobia now is I can't find the door that's open. I can never find the door that's open. I walk around all these buildings. Please, promoters, tell your talent what door's open. That's what we hate. I feel like an idiot walking around the whole building.
Oh, you were perfect in Port St. Lucie, Daddy.
Yeah,
you fit right in, man. I'm sorry you missed our unbranded brewing company in Hialeah. That was like our ECW arena. And we used to pack that place, 700 to 1,000 people once a month. That's fantastic. I'm not calling CCW an indie show because we're not. We're a legitimate company.
It really is.
We're like a young ECW. We started off from the bottom and struggling, and then all of a sudden here we are. We're on fire. We're the number one company in the Southeast.
No, and you talk about unbranded, but the Tank too now is building back.
I love the Tank.
The thing about unbranded was, and you reminisce about the ECW arena, is no AC. It was hot. Everyone was really drunk. We would have problems of guys jumping the rail, or fans jumping the rail and getting into the ring. And it's so funny because I'll speak to guys that have worked maybe once or twice at unbranded, and they'll always, no matter what, they'll talk about it, and they'll talk about how just crazy it was. So even though the Tank has AC, better food, but nothing is better than that old ECW arena style that we had.
Yeah, that's what reminded me so much of the Unbranded Brewing Company. I'm sorry they sold that place, but good for those guys. And we moved on to the Tank, which has been sensational for us. We've been selling that place out. It's been fantastic. But the Unbranded reminds me of the ECW arena with the people and the fans getting behind us, and it was very cool. We've had some great shows there.
Ben, you've been holding us down in Nashville. You've been holding the fort down in Nashville, and really we've been able to build something really nice there on a monthly basis. That crowd there, though, it's a very different crowd than you see in Florida, right?
Very different. There's nothing like the Tennessee crowds.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
Yeah, like what do you feel some of the differences that when you get in? I mean, Tampa, Miami. You haven't been to Miami. You're going to be down in Miami soon.
Yeah, yes.
Those Florida crowds versus those Tennessee crowds. What are some?
I got to get more. So when I first started, I was working mostly in Tennessee because that was like because when COVID hit, that was the state that was open. So I got to witness Tennessee crowds a lot. Florida, I'm still kind of figuring out a little bit. Florida crowd is a little different. Tennessee, they're like the almost old school crowd you're gonna get, and they still have that like Memphis style mentality on how wrestling should go. Boo the heels, cheer the face, that type of stuff. That is like I would say the perfect wrestling crowd is the Tennessee crowd. I've always said that.
No, I agree, and I love that you've come in and you beat Kobe Carter so badly that he needed his appendix taken out, and then
that was on me. Yep.
Yeah, that was on him, and then of course Tyler Shoup has never been the same. So we're excited to see.
Now he's training softer.
Especially this weekend. I think this is a huge match. Richard Holiday is incredible. I love his work. He's making his CCW debut, and now you are the veteran. You're the CCW veteran. You're the welcoming committee.
I am. And finally somebody came to their senses and booked this match because it has been a long time coming. He's somebody that I don't make dream match lists. I'm not a huge fan of. Nothing against anybody that does. I'm just not a huge fan of him. But I'd say if I had to make a list, he'd be up there. He'd be number 1 or 2. And the match is going to be great. The match is going to be great. I am the welcoming committee. He's coming into my house now, the Troubadour Theater. And so, Richard Holly, it's not up in the Northeast, not what you're used to. I know you're getting around a little bit more, but now you're coming into my territory. He'll see. I think it's going to be one hell of a match, and I can't wait. So, CCW did the right thing. Hey, and that's why you guys aren't just an indie. You get it.
I love it. No, Ben, I appreciate you coming on. I know you have a tight schedule, but Fonzie loves you. I love you.
Hey, when's Ben? Is Ben on our next event? Is he at the tank?
He is Saturday in Nashville. He is a busy man, but he'll get those dates.
Don't worry, we will.
Look, August in the tank or September at the tank, 100%. Justin Shelton saying Big Ben, Bishop, and Fonzie to the Vero walking tree. That is July 25th or 26th. It's going to be an incredible one. We'll see. Who knows? You never know. Again, he's got a busy schedule, but I'm glad that he made time for us, and I'm glad that
anytime. You guys are the best.
I'm glad that he can call CCW one of his homes.
Absolutely.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for being part of our team.
Try to make Nashville special, and
we sure are.
The Florida fans and the Tennessee fans, they kind of have a little rivalry. Like it's one of those grass is greener. Like the Florida fans are like, "Get me Ben Bishop," and then the Tennessee fans are like, "Get me Domino," and get me, So I love it. So we really solidified things, and moving forward in Nashville, like I see you as part of our core. Tyler Shoup, Colby. Parker Lee, and then Beastman, who's making his return.
Oh man, he's
Big West.
Yes. Oh yes, I do. Yes, I do. He's great.
I think we can have some magic in Tennessee, and we're excited for Saturday. So ccwrestlingfl.com, Music City Fight 9, and then Ben, anything before you get to go and film some videos, work out, and
work out. I'm all done for the day. Working our way back through Stranger Things, though. I'm telling you, second time around, that show's great. Really is. I wasn't a huge fan the first time around. We're doing that right now. All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Nelly, I'll see you. Bill, I'll see you soon. Tyler,
thanks, man.
See you, pal.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, I cut him off early.
Jeez.
Sorry, I'm not used to being the host of the show. Love Ben Bishop. That was an awesome little run-in. Great guest, 7 foot tall, and you'll see him on Saturday. So
yeah, Ben's great. I love when he does that big Bruiser Brody Bigfoot. My God, it looks freaking great. He's a natural athlete, like we talked about earlier. But and he fits right in. The boys love him. He fits right into the dressing room. The people love to hate him and love to love him. So it's a good fit for CCW with Ben.
100%. Tyler, so we had an incredible weekend at Game of War. New CCW Women's Champion Nikki Blackheart.
Congratulations.
She has gone viral, Fonzie. 2.4 million views on a Power Slam. We have new fans.
Can you believe it?
One clip retweeted by Dustin Rhodes and Randy Orton and all those people. So she's just like, again, it's one of those things. 2 years she's busted her butt and worked so hard at CCW training facility. And in 2 years, she's become an overnight success. That's how it works. You really got to put your time in.
Congratulations to her.
But new CCW Women's Champion, and already she's having that rematch with Ruthie at Bash at the Brew, Tyler.
Yeah, we saw Ruthie J not happy whatsoever. Even when people were trying to congratulate Nikki Blackheart, Ruthie J just was having none of it, making sure no one could congratulate her. But that was just such a special moment for Nikki Blackheart. The date that happened to land on, and all the emotion and everything, her journey. Like you said, I mean, the hardest working woman in the building, Nikki Blackheart. What a journey she's been on, and you'll hear it on commentary. But now it's like she got that championship, and now the journey just begins. Now the hard work has to happen, because now she's got to defend that championship night in, night out with this busy schedule. But Nikki Blackheart can't wait to see what she does with that women's championship. Just Game of War was just a special night. So many moments. We just talked about Big Ben Bishop, Fonzie. You got mixed up in there with him. What was that like? I mean, it looked a little scary on commentary, Fonzie, when Big Ben Bishop pushed you down. Me and Dan were getting a little nervous for you.
Yeah, I don't mind taking a bump now and then. That's part of the nature of sports entertainment. And I was excited to work with a 7 foot giant. I've been working with Andre the Giant since the early 1980s. In fact, he stepped on my foot in 1981 at the Miami Beach Convention Center, and it still hurts today. He cracked the top bone of my foot, and it's still, I thought I had the gout or something, but the doctor x-rayed it, and it's, when Andre stepped on it, he cracked that, he left a little crack in my bone, and it still hurts today, 40-something years later.
That's incredible. You have a keepsake inside your body from Andre the Giant.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Fonzie's
drinking-
had his run-ins with Giants. I think that's where S2S gets it.
The Andre the Giant drinking stories, Fonzie, like those are those 100% true?
Oh my God, yeah, they are so accurate. And hey, do you guys remember? I told you this, Giant, that I was a personal assistant for the largest athlete on the planet for 3 years. We traveled all over the world. WrestleMania 9, which is one of the most talked about WrestleManias ever. They just did a big documentary. It was Giant Gonzalez and The Undertaker. And of course, I was a referee, but me being a personal assistant for him, we traveled all over the world. And that was so cool, man. That was so cool. And the women loved Giant Gonzalez because he wasn't like Andre. You know, Andre had the Giant's disease really strong, but his head was protruding and his jaw and stuff. Giant Gonzalez didn't have that yet. You know, he was 43 years old and he was still a good-looking Argentinian. The women loved this guy. Women love this guy. I got some great stories about women and Giant Gonzalez if you ever want to hear them.
PG show.
Yeah, Fonzie, you always have been linked with these Giants. We have some questions because it's Ask Us Anything. One of the questions that we had gotten earlier, Fonzie, I thought there was a few really good ones in the chat, but one of the questions was, 1 second here, from our friend Troy, said, what was one piece of advice that the late, great Kevin Sullivan gave you or Fonzie, about the business that you might have known or you didn't think about doing, but you now understand? Something from the Taskmaster. There's so many I can think of on my end, Fonzie. Just so many funny stories and just how fun wrestling can be on my end is one of the things. Like Kevin he saw things differently. But first, you, Fonzie, what do you think?
Kevin was fantastic. Let me give you an example. Here, let me just show you a picture first. Here's Kevin Sullivan and Wahoo McDaniels in the early 80s. And they made the cover of the magazine. I got the cover of the magazine.
How does
somewhere.
Fonzie have a framed picture for everything? Every question we ask him, he pulls out a framed picture. It's amazing.
A framed picture. I love it.
So it was 1983, maybe, at the Bayfront Center, Christmas night, December 25th, sold out. The main event was Kevin Sullivan and Dusty Rhodes in a loser leave town match Christmas night. Sold out. They built it up. So they have their match in the cage. Everybody expects Kevin Sullivan to lose the match. All the fans think, you know, there's no way Dusty's going to lose a match and leave town. You know, he was the man. Dusty was the Hulk Hogan back then. So we had the match. Here comes Santa Claus during the match. Here comes Santa Claus handing out presents during the match. But it was Jake the Snake dressed as Santa Claus. He handed Kevin Sullivan the gimmick, and he nails Dusty and pins Dusty 1, 2, 3. The people fucking couldn't believe it. It was that white heat. They couldn't believe it. And then so Dusty had to leave town. He comes back as the Midnight Rider. We had a great summer.
Yeah, no, and actually you hit something exactly. White hot heat. Like,
yes.
You know, that's what this business needs. That's what Kevin taught me. Like, you know, you need angles, you need hate, you need people who really hate each other. You need you know, you hit it right in the head. That's a wonderful, you know, like
Back then, you know, when I started in the 80s and before that, I used to watch wrestling. My dad came home when I was 13 years old with 2 comp tickets. He had from the Sports Center to the Tampa Bay Times. They used to Florida Championship Wrestling used to put an ad in the newspaper on the sports section, and they used to comp them tickets. And so My dad came home with 2 comp tickets for me. I said, wrestling, what's that? I didn't know. I lived in the Florida, the hotbed of professional wrestling in the entire country, where the territories were territories. You know, Tennessee, Louisiana, everything was territories. And I lived in the biggest hotbed of them all. Eddie Graham, Dusty, Great Malenko, goes on and on. When I broke in 1980, it was Bobo Brazil and Ernie Ladd and all these guys. My God, what a break I had. Uh, so what was I saying? I'm sorry. I'm so hyped up to be on the show tonight.
We were just saying
CCW.
that the midnight rider angle and all the stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Dusty
And how
came back.
he was a proponent of where's the heat, like where's the, like you need 2 men who are definitely going to hate each other and believe it, and that's what we try to do here. But yeah.
Yeah, the people couldn't believe that Dusty lost the match, and then we came back as Midnight Rider was a sellout. They wanted to see Dusty Rhodes. And Barry Windham was our big baby face. My God, Barry was beautiful. Women were throwing their underwear in the ring. Barry Windham was a superstar, man. My God, he was a great worker. Back in the day, we'd have specialty people come in. We'd work 7 days a week. How we do this, Giant? Monday night, West Palm Beach. Tuesday, Tampa. Wednesday, Miami. Thursday, Jacksonville. Friday and Saturday was Pacho. Sunday was Orlando. Repeat itself week after week. And we saw 3,000 to 5,000 people every Monday night, every Tuesday night. How the hell did we do that? It was unbelievable, but we were telling stories, and people didn't know back then if wrestling was a work, if it was a shoot. They didn't, the heels.
6 years ago or 7 years ago, if you would have told me about that, I would have said it can never happen. But you know what? Now, like as CCW has grown and what I've seen, that their potential that can be done, it's not out of the question of when they go back to maybe 5 shows a week. We're at 2 or 3 shows a week, Fonzie. I think
every first Saturday of the month we sell out Miami.
Yeah.
Every second Friday we sell out Kissimmee, and then we do all these other shows, which we're doing big business. My God, how do we do that?
Right, and I think
happening.
What's old is new again. So I think that's a great potential. Let's go. But thank you, Troy. I have to say
Thanks, Troy.
I'd have to say also, Troy. I was never a Merlot guy, but I could drink bottles of Merlot when Kevin was around because he was a Merlot guy.
Right.
And also, Kevin would have this weird thing where he, like, similar to what I kind of, like Kevin was in wrestling and his grandfather was a boxing promoter, and he was for his whole life. But he always had an ability to take a step back and look at it like a fan. Sometimes I think sometimes when you're so into the trenches of wrestling that you get stuck sometimes. And Kevin was always able to go back, and I always remember he would be like, hey, like what he would ask me, like, what do I think about the Bloodline? And I'll be like, what am I watching WWE for? Like, who cares? Like but then he was like, it was like getting our bearings back and say, like, where is wrestling? What is going on with that? And he would still look at it like a fan and still be able to watch it like a fan. So those would be the 2 things. Thank you, Troy. Here's from Justin Shelton. This is a great one. I don't think we've ever talked to you about this, but I love this. I love what happened in this match. It was a crazy match. Can you ask Bill to please tell the story of Lex, meaning Lex Luger, and Bruiser Brody in that cage match?
He's looking for the picture.
Absolutely. It was on a Wednesday night. It was a bad booking. They should have never, I think Bob Roode was the booker. They should have never put Bruiser Brody, temperamental, big superstar, but one of the biggest superstars in Japan ever, against Lex Luger. Lex Luger was just breaking into business. This was 1987. Here's the match right here. Let's see.
Where's it at?
1987. Miami Beach, Fort War Memorial, Fort Lauderdale. It was Lex Luger and Bruiser Brody.
Wow.
In a cage. And for the first year, they were hand-picking Lex Luger's opponents, and they were putting them over, and we were building them to be the next big star. And they put him in with Bruiser Brody in the cage. And Luger had been working with all these guys that were putting him over and so on and so on, and he never was in the ring with a guy like Bruiser Brody, and he didn't know what to do with him. It was a bad booking. They should have never booked that match. And Lex got a little excited and didn't know what to do, and uh, he was trying to talk to Bruiser Brody, and Bruiser Brody says, let me do my thing, and then. But Luger just freaked out. Brody wouldn't sell anything, and and Lex said, "Fonzie, what did I do?" He was getting really scared because Brody wouldn't sell a thing because Luke was trying to do all these things to him. And I said, "Well, grab the referee, which is me, and throw me against the cage. I'll disqualify you, and we'll get you out of here." And that's what he did. So during the match, he grabbed me, threw me against the cage. I rang the bell, and Luger was so freaked out. He climbed over the top of the cage, went to the dressing room, grabbed his bag, jumped in his car, and drove back to Tampa without, just all freaked out. It was a bad booking. It should have never happened. But now it's a famous match, and I caught it right down the middle, so I get a. It's pretty cool. People ask me about that match. They asked me about the Dusty and Kevin Sullivan stuff. They asked me about Beulah and Fonzie match where I almost bled out. They asked me all kinds of stuff. They asked me about Ric Flair and Fujinami in Tokyo, 65,000 people, controversial finish. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I Justin, I remember watching that match, and it really makes you realize how much of a tough guy that Brody really was, because he was not giving Lex Luger an inch. So
not a thing.
Wrestling is wrestling. This is a great question. Multiple people have asked us about this. There's two aspects to this question. It's Bryce Perry. Will we be getting a Vice City Slam 2? The answer is yes. In fact, I'll announce it right now. The show, Vice City Slam 2, is on August 9th, second Saturday of August. So you heard that here first. Tickets will be on sale July 9th, next Wednesday. So you'll be seeing a huge return. I'm still putting together what's going to be there, but for a venue like Vivo, which has been incredible, which, by the way, I believe starting not next week, but the following week, the Vivo matches will play as we have we had an issue with the live stream, so you can't go back and watch it live stream, but you can watch those Vivo shows. You're going to watch them on a live, and you'll watch them drop. As well as this week, you'll watch Music City Fight Night 7 as well, is all going to be uploaded on the social media. But Vice City Slam, which has been incredible, incredible, and we're excited for the growth there. And Vivo's all over the country, so we're kind of tapped into the Vivos in the other locations. We're in discussions about doing stuff in some other parts of the country with Vivo, and I even mentioned that there's a Vivo in Brazil, and you might see a CCW show in Brazil. I think think Fonzie will have to go because he has a Brazilian Giant, he has Ariel Levy, potentially not Ariel Levy anymore. He has Allen. You have the South American Alliance.
AFC, if ECW can take the whole show on the road and go to Tokyo and do big business in Tokyo, so can CCW in Brazil.
I love it. Tyler, we spoke a little bit about Nashville, but let's run down a little bit of what's going down at Rumble in the Jungle this Saturday. Because we have a double shot. Think about that, Fonzie. We'll be in Nashville. I'll be in Nashville. And then everyone else will be running Doral.
I'm sorry I'm going to miss those. I'm in Cleveland and I already sold out AIW show for John Thorne. We've been doing big business. It kind of reminds me of CCW. John Thorne's been around for several years and doing really big business. And
I see John is expanding out to some in Akron and some other cities around and stuff. Yeah. And Ohio is a great state for wrestling, for pro wrestling.
They run once a month there.
Kevin Sullivan always used to tell me, he said, Florida and Ohio are very similar, and you have, bigger cities. If you add Detroit into that as well, like you really can run a full territory on a monthly basis, Fridays and Saturdays. You can run 8 shows in great cities there, but like you can do here, 10 shows in CCW in Florida a month. That's a great question. The CCW belts are being up for bids. That's right. We have a bunch of new belts that are coming in, and you can bid on ring worn, and obviously you can buy that Fonzie, the CCW Hardcore Championship, held currently by Mr. Ozzy Killmeister. And yeah, a lot of double shows on Saturdays. But yes, we're getting a bunch of new belts coming in, so you'll be seeing some new belts. So they're for sale. Yeah, that's a great question.
Great news, and the belts sell themselves. Everybody wants a belt, especially with a hot company like CCW. Man, the merchandise is flying. If you guys want very cool merchandise, like with our hats and our shirts, like I'm wearing, people are wearing them everywhere I go. I was in the airport the other day, and I seen 3 CCW hats. I couldn't believe it. So we're on the map, Daddy.
Yeah, CCW taking over.
No, those hats are just insane. Are crazy. Yeah,
Quality made, and fantastic, great merchandise, and people love our brand, man. CCW is red hot.
I love it. We have a huge fatal 4-way. Domino, run down the card for us on Saturday in Doral. Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah, so like you said, we got the CCW Southeastern Championship. We got Domino defending that championship, going in a 4-way against Fonzie's guy, Alan S2S Martinez, Skits, and Alex Chamberlain. I saw this match announced. I know I was excited. I know all the fans were excited for this one. It just goes to show the depth of the CCW roster. We're talking about Domino bringing in that Miami spirit. We're talking about Alan S2S Martinez. I mean, the underdog of underdogs, one of the best pound-for-pound wrestlers in CCW. Talking about the schizophrenic one, Skits, and then Alex Chamberlain, the Dark Knight, most dangerous man. I don't think you can get variety like this anywhere else in the country. 4 guys with completely different styles, all gunning for that Southeastern Championship, a championship so prominent that Domino's been holding, and we know he wants to get to that 305 mark, Nelio.
No, that's 100%. That's the goal. So he doesn't have an opponent yet for Bash because part of me doesn't believe that he can get through this match. I mean, he's been great, and he's
Domino believes he can get through.
100%. But he has been incredible. So that's going to be a huge main event in Doral on Saturday. Also, Ruthie J is in a mood like I've never seen her. She's lost that CCW Women's Championship, and she is wrestling Sophia Savan, and that one's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, she's going to make a big comeback really soon. I don't know if it was a fluke that she dropped the fall the other day, but she's badass, man. Every
617 days as the CCW Women's Champion, Fonzie.
Yeah, she deserved it. She busted her ass. She was like some of the boys. She kind of reminded me of the stamina of Ric Flair,
100%. And
week after week, month after month, year after year, she held that strap, and she held it great. What a representative for the women's pro wrestling and CCW. She's a big superstar.
Fonzie, you hit it on the head from her beginning of that title reign to 607, almost 2 years of being the CCW Women's Champion. She just got better and better. So now, I think we've got a big match. If Nikki Blackheart can survive being the champion in her first title defense, I think we have a huge match at Bash. I think maybe you don't bet against Ruthie. What do you think?
I'm not betting against anybody. It can go either way anytime. This sports entertainment business is freaking crazy, man. And if you want to see some great action, man, come down to the Tank. Of course, it's the first Saturday of the month, next month. It's going to be freaking fantastic.
Yeah, July 5th.
Also, July 5th, Fonzie, you're in a spot because you have Ariel versus S2S, and you are the special guest referee.
Yeah, and I've refereed all over the country, and I've worked for Florida Championship Wrestling. I've worked for WCW. I've worked for WWF, WrestleMania, referee, and so on. I just haven't shirt. I know I'm the special guest referee for the Ariel and Martinez. I was trying to find. I just had a new shirt made up for that match, a referee shirt.
Yes.
Man, I can't find it.
You're always prepared, Fonzie. But yes.
Oh yeah, I love it, man, and I'm gonna call it right down the middle, as I'm known for.
But also a huge match announced. This one was shocking. Executive committee put this together. Ozzy Killmeister, where he lost the CCW Cruiserweight Championship, he gets an opportunity again.
Third time's the charm for Mr. Ozzy Killmeister. Look at that special guest we got with Nelio.
We have a special guest here tonight. Say hi to the folks at home. There's a future.
Hey, Daddy. Hey, kid.
We'll never get. You past your bedtime, little one.
But I'm hungry.
All right, I'll be done in a few.
I love it. Hey, live TV, you never know.
Never know.
Superstar right there by the giant, by Brazilian Giants. She's absolutely beautiful. Congratulations, Giant.
She is the most beautiful thing in the world. But also Richard Holiday, Ben Bishop, that's a big one. But a bit of a shocker. I think a lot of people were surprised. And people had been telling me that they thought that Davey Richards was retired. We have Davey Richards versus Chase Stevens. Are you shocked, baby? In Nashville? What? We have Davey Richards versus Chase Stevens in Nashville on Saturday. Oh.
And what a great building and what great fans in Nashville, man. I've been there twice for CCW, and I love it. I can't wait to come back. I think I'm coming back this summer when they run the following show.
So we might see double title Ozzy on. Whoa. We might see double title Ozzy on. We might see double title Ozzy on Saturday. So great.
Yep, Rumble in the Jungle 17. Ozzy Killmeister. It's his second time going back after Elliot Crow. And, it's going to be the third time the charm, maybe for Ozzy Killmeister. We got to see, Skits and Agony always in the back. That's really the main reason why Ozzy's lost twice to Elliot Crow was because of Skits and Agony. Always seems like getting involved in Ozzy Killmeister's business. And me and Dan asked the question at Game of War when it comes to Ozzy and Skits after them assaulting Ozzy for it feels like the 100th time. What's it going to take between these three men? Well, we got the answer, Nelly. We got announced by the booking committee that it is going to be a casket match at the next Bash of the Brew, July 5th, between Ozzy and Agony, and that is just going to tear the roof down. Tank. I mean, we saw Ozzy pop out of the coffin with a sledgehammer swinging for the fences. Now him and Agony are going to go at it. It's just going to be pure chaos, and what a way to go in with that Cruiserweight Championship and all the momentum.
And here's what they expect on that night. I guarantee you there's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. I can't wait.
Oh, bloodshed for sure between those two crazy lunatics between Ozzy and Agony.
Also, a big show coming up is in Kissimmee. We got Matt Riddle, the super.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I love this kid, man.
We have Riddle and Stallion, the new CCW tag.
Oh, yeah, Daddy.
I almost forgot they're going to be wrestling Cha-Cha Charlie, the franchise. The one title that Cha-Cha Charlie has not won is that tag team title, so he would become a Grand Slam champion. He's teaming with former CCW tag team champion Maximus, so that one's going to be huge. Maximus and Cha-Cha Charlie, they're teaming against Matt Riddle, Stallion in Kissimmee. That one's just
Matt Riddle and Stallion are the two hottest CCW superstars right now. They are champions, and man, do they represent those tag team belts very good. Matt Riddle's an international superstar. Japan, he's wanted all over the country, and we got him next Kissimmee show early next month. I think it's the second Friday of the month.
Yep,
it's going to be a sellout. I can't wait, Daddy. I hope I can sit ringside and watch this match.
100%.
I might be commentating.
You'll be calling that action, so that one is going to be incredible. So buy your tickets for that. And then go ahead.
We also had a big bombshell announcement earlier on social media. Jay Lethal is going to be at our next Havoc and Hayes next month. Absolute insanity. I mean, I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
Jay Lethal, he thinks he's Ric Flair, Daddy.
I
love it.
Ric Flair. I love I do a little Ric Flair impression myself. I'm not going to do it now. But Jay Lethal's Ric Flair and his Black Machismo is incredible. I think Jay Lethal is one of the most talented wrestlers of all time.
He's been around for a minute, and he's fantastic in and out of the ring. He's fantastic backstage. He's fantastic as a promoter. He's fantastic as a wrestler. The boys love him. The fans love him, and so do I.
Yeah, 100%. And
he does a great Fonzie imitation too.
That's great. We're gonna have him do it. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah.
He has to do it.
You. That'll be great. No, and just before we kind of sign off, we had some great questions.
Hey, don't wrap us up, Giant. I can talk all night long, Daddy.
I mentioned it, Davey Richards. People were telling me Davey's retired. He's not. I've been watching every day. He's wrestling Chase Stevens, a blast from the past. You want an old school fight. That's what you're going to see in the main event on Saturday in Nashville. I'm glad that I'm there. Tickets in Nashville are selling like crazy. I was watching the video from 2 Music City fight nights ago and then last Music City fight night, and we see that the crowd is just growing. Also, the return of one of my favorite young wrestlers, WWE ID Aaron Roberts, 380 pounds. He's mean.
He's a big boy.
I watched him fight a guy in a bar, and I was like, this is what wrestling is supposed to be. Like, this is what, like, he built he was molded out of what I want wrestling to be. A big kid, a mean kid. He wasn't nice to anybody. But it's great to see the WWE has those guys on their radar, because for a long time, the WWE just had a lot of really, tall, big, jacked guys. But finally, 380-pound, mean SOB, and he'll be in that.
But Nelio, I got 2 words for you, and that's buddy, LG3.
Yeah, buddy.
You're gonna welcome him to Nashville.
LG3 has become one of our, or possibly our most popular wrestler
in Nashville. Yeah,
Kobe and LG3 are right there. So you're watching LG3, who's a big man himself, wrestling Aaron Roberts, and then of course I think this one is huge. Big Ben Bishop, Richard Holiday.
Oh, huge match! Huge
guys going back and forth on social media. It's just been a great week for CCW, a great week in social media. It's just been great,
Hey, can I bring up one of my favorite names in CCW who is on fire? It is old school and new school all in one, and it reminds me of RVD, Jackal Stevens. I love this kid. He's got those thighs, man. He's badass. He takes this business very serious. He's the first one at the arena. He's the last one to leave. He's doing freaking fantastic. I love this kid.
I've seen Jackal. I 100% with you. He has been fired up. He's been motivated lately. We saw him at the Game of War. He was an MVP in that, and just incredible. I mean, imagine, like, we're so lucky to have the roster that we do. With a lot of these, with Matt Riddle coming, with Stallion Rogers, with a lot of these guys, these stars coming
in. They're giant. Oh my God.
Yeah, Ben and everything. We still maintain, and this little girl over here, we still maintain an incredible core roster of guys who are just the best. So, they're not here to overshadow anybody. They're putting it right into the mix. Well,
everybody.
Eddie Valentine. Fonzie, what are your thoughts on Eddie Valentine? His title reign, has been incredible.
Yes. You know why CCW is doing so good? Because we have a roster who's so hungry and wants to get 100%. It's unbelievable. You got to come check us out at a live show.
100%. Every Tuesday, CCW Alive Wrestling is on YouTube.
Yeah, man. Great show.
Every Saturday.
Trevin Adams is doing fantastic. I love Trevin Adams. He reminds me of a Gordon Soley, but an update.
Tyler, too. I've heard great things on Tyler.
Oh, Tyler's badass. Are you kidding me?
I appreciate the kind words.
But we have Tyler. But we have shows every Saturday. So just go to ccwrestlingfl.com. Buy your tickets. Get there. And we have an incredible show in Doral. After that, Breakout, but we'll probably talk before that. And then, Fonzie, anything else before we sign off?
No, I just want to give a shout out to my good friend Bubba. He's works with us in the security department.
Yes.
I thought he was good. He called me. He texted me while we were doing this live show and said, "Hey, I want to ask you a question," and I couldn't read.
Here it is. When will the suspension be lifted? Well, suspension for Vinicius, the Brazilian giant. Fonzie, I know that you've been asking the executive committee.
I'm working on it.
They've taken your they've taken it very seriously and they've put it under discretion. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be sooner than later. And then how is it working with my friend, the manager, Fonzie? It has been a pleasure these last 6 years as a mentor, as a friend, as a coworker. Fonzie, like the time that we've spent on the road, the time that we spend in the show, the time that we spend in the back, like it is just the best. And
I think CCW uses me because I'm their good luck charm.
You are, exactly.
And I love it. Thank you so much to all the fans, to the boys for always putting me over, to the company CCW. Man, they're taking care of me. I live in Tampa. I drive 300 miles one way to go do that tank show, and I'm happy as hell to do it. Are you kidding me?
Hell yeah. And then where do you guys see CCW? There's so many. I think there's so many amazing things happening in the future. I mean, she's the future owner of CCW, and I think by the time that she's old enough to run it, I really hope that we're on national television and we're working hard, and that we just continue to grow organically. That's where I see CCW. I see a lot of really awesome growth already.
Yeah, one step at a time, and I can't wait to get my Brazilian giant back from his permanent suspension. But if I get Robert Shapiro to, phone in,
He has
we'll
been.
get him right back, Daddy.
He has been. Yeah, Robert Shapiro has been. It's been tough. We talk about Hulk Hogan. Fonzie knows everybody, Fonzie, and we're just glad to know you, Fonzie. I love you, Tyler. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. We're so excited. Be in Doral, be in Nashville, be at Breakout, be at the Tank, and then August 9th, you heard it here. We're back to Vivo 2, Vice City Slam 2. There's going to be some great names there, and it'll be a great time. Hello.
Hey, baby. Hey, don't forget, I know we're not working this night, but August 11th is my birthday. I'm accepting presents, and
Yes.
you guys can put me over August 11th.
Yes,
like
we're gonna.
last year.
You know what? It's gonna be August 11th. We're gonna do it big for Fonzie's birthday.
Fantastic. I love you guys. Thanks for having me on the live show tonight.
Thank you, Fonzie.
Thanks, Daddy.
CCW. See you guys later.
You have been watching CCW Insider, produced by Minutes to Bell Time in association with Coastal Championship Wrestling.